everyone! Guess who's back? Guys, can you tell how excited I am to finally be back and be filming for you guys on my YouTube channel? Because this is the space where I feel most comfortable, most excited about life, because I am reaching you, the viewer, and I get so many comments and emails from people saying, you know, like just sharing their side of the story or giving me words of encouragement or just simply saying that they really love my videos, and that's just like, oh my gosh. Like, it just gets me so excited because I'm like, okay, I'm doing something right. Like, this is something that I really enjoy. I hope you guys had a wonderful start to the year. I certainly did. I was in sunny South Africa, okay? And it was wonderful to be with my family and my friends and catch up, and yeah, you know, and now I am back over here and it's a freezing cold and it's raining and there's no daylight, but what else? Like, I'm still going to film this, okay? Come rain or shine, I'm going to film this and I'm going to share how I am keeping to my resolutions for 2018. So, without further ado, let's get started. So guys, yes, we're talking about resolutions. Now you might be wondering, okay, why are we still talking about resolutions? Because you know how resolutions go, right? We start them in the beginning of the year. Before you know it, it comes February and you're just like, I'm not doing that. I'm going back to the old me with my old habits and I was just fine. And then you also start feeling a little guilty because you know that you should be doing better. And then you start like using excuses like, no, but it's not my time, la la la. But really when you look down at it, like there's just certain things that you need to start realizing when it comes to resolutions. And I find that from all the failed resolutions, there are a couple of things that I've learned and I'm now incorporating it into the new resolutions that I have for 2018 so that I can like stick to something that will make me better in the long run. Okay, so the first 3 topics that I had when it comes to my resolutions for this year were as follows. So it was health, number 1 most important thing, wealth, and then my career. So health, like now everyone knows because I had a video on it last year. I was just going through a lot of like depression and anxiety, not like very severe to the point where I probably could have gone to see someone on the regular or be on some form of medication, but it was maybe actually it probably was like towards that, and I just didn't want to face that reality for myself. But I think also what really triggered me to be in such a very like low state is the fact that I was really missing home and I was missing a reason to just be here, because it's very difficult to be by yourself in a foreign country and you don't really have your support structures around you, because when things don't work out, which inevitably they will not, you just don't know how to cope with it, because you can't come home and be like, oh, things are not so great at work, or things are not so great at this or whatever, and like there's nothing there's no one you can come home to and complain about to, because they're all sleeping in South Africa and they don't know what your struggles are. So that was very difficult for me. But like I said, when I went back home, I feel like the sunshine and the people and the friends, you know, and the ocean water, it just like made me think about like life is not that bad, not yet anyway. Like it's still great. Like there have been major pitfalls, major things that you need to really reassess and look at, but over the grand scheme of things, there's still air in your lungs. There's still dreams that you have, and that's what matters. And you still have drive and determination. If you don't have drive and determination, then we're working with something that's very different. So I was like, yeah, I still have those 3 things: dreams, drive, and air in my lungs. And that was like, okay, now what do we do? What went wrong? How do we fix that? And that also came with a lot of mental like assessments and a lot of meditation, and that's what I mean by health. So what I did with health, I was like, okay, my mental health, it needs to be on par, if not even more prioritized than physical health. Because if you're not mentally healthy and you're not mentally like in the right space of mind, like forget about everything else. This thing needs to be in tune. It's the one that basically drives everything. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna meditate. I'm going to really be on top of that. And that's what I did. I was like, I need to meditate more. So what did I do? I wrote it down, because you need to write down your resolutions. If you don't write down your resolutions, like it's very hard to stick to them, because what happens is, like, I don't know if you know about this thing, but apparently when you like write something down, like your brain is like awake when things are being written down, and it's taking note of that particular thing. That's why when you're studying, most of the time they always say you need to write it down, or you need to draw it out, because your brain is awake. It's not a passive thought that just like came in and is coming out. Like, it's actually an active thing that's happening in your mind. So that's what I did. I wrote it down. I said I want to be mentally healthy and physically healthy. So then I was like, okay, that's the big picture that you want to do. But, and I did this with all the other like resolutions that I have. Like, this is the big picture that you want to do. But what does it mean per month? What does it mean in January? What does it mean in February? And what does it mean in March? Because I'm looking at my like year in quarters, in months, and then also in quarters, and like doing a measure, like look at everything that I've done at the end of a quarter. So I was like, in these 3 months, what's going to be happening? And then I broke down the months into weeks. Like, in this week, what's going to happen? And in this week, what's going to happen? And in this week, what's going to happen? And I wrote down, like, 5:00 a.m. I'm going to wake up, no matter how tired I am, and I'm going to move my ass into the living room, and I'm going to sit there and I'm going to meditate at least for 10 minutes. And that's what I did. I woke up at 5 a.m. very tired, very like grumpy, and I sat down and I did it for that, just to like force the body. And it's never going to be comfortable when you're getting your resolutions right, guys. It's never going to be comfortable. And you know what's actually horrible? It's not the first week of resolutions. I think like everyone is motivated and you're like, new me, new year, whatever in the first week. It's that second week, bruh, then it just feels like, no, I can't do it anymore. Like, my life is just not made up for this. And that's the part where you really need to like force yourself and remind yourself, this is why I'm doing that. And what I did in order to like force myself and remind myself is that I did a little vision board with my friends, and I don't have it with me physically here because it's been laminated, and once it's been laminated, I'm gonna put it up on my wall so I know what's like cracking every time I wake up. I'm like, oh, that's the me that I want to be. But also what I did is I took a photograph of it. I don't know if you can see it. It's on a Polaroid. I took a photograph of it, and I put it inside this diary of mine, so that every time I forget, it's right here, honey. You know, this is the life that you want, guys. It's ultimately what it boils down to is like, what have you been doing that has honestly been making you happy? Like, the life that you've been living, has it made you any happier? You waking up at 8 o'clock instead of 5 o'clock in order to get some of the things that you need to get done. Like, at 8 o'clock, that lifestyle that you have been living, has it made you any happier? Or are you still stuck in that mess? Like, you need to just have a frank conversation with yourself in that second week and go, you know what? I can go back to my old habits of just sleeping in and not doing what I need to do. But did that make me any happier? The second part of my resolutions, which is wealth. Now, wealth is a different one because it's not necessarily decisions that you have to make every day in order for you to succeed at it. What I did is like, and because it's difficult, like you always just have so many temptations, so many things that you want to buy, so many things that just, you know, like spoil yourself. No, like that is not the year for spoil yourself. Last year was year of spoil yourself. Last year what I did is I played myself and I would save money every month. I'd be like, okay, I'm saving $1,000 this month. And then what would happen? I was like, okay, $1,500. This is what I'm saving. I'll put it in my savings account, right? You know, you have checking in your savings, but it's still in one like banking account. I would put it on this app and then I would move it into this account. But as soon as like something happened, like an emergency happened, I would just transfer the money back in and start spending it. And it's like, why are you doing that to yourself? Firstly, because you should make the money basically inaccessible. It needs to be so difficult to get this money back from where you have put it. So don't play yourself. Do the right thing and make your money inaccessible. All the things that you know you don't want to touch and you want to make a success out of your life, bruh, just make it inaccessible. Put it away somewhere else. Another thing that I've been doing is just putting it into shares. Like every extra dollar that I have randomly just chilling, I put it into shares because it's so difficult for me to sell those shares and like move it back into my account. It's like a job, you know, and especially when the shares are doing so well, I'm like, let me just leave it there so that it can do better and better and better. And the third resolution is, this one's a little tricky. This has got to do with career. So I find that a lot of people who are in their 20s, my friends, I've also gone through it too, we're just not sure if we're in the right career, whether or not we're in the right fit. And a lot of us are making decisions to be in certain careers in order just to like pay month-to-month bills. But when you're starting to see yourself like, I'm going to be one day financially free, am I still in the career that I feel like is really just fulfilling for myself? Am I getting to a point where I'm feeling joyful and content with myself? And sometimes it's still very difficult for us to know exactly where we want to be in terms of our like careers and where we want to be in just in life. And I think career is very important because you're spending like 8 hours of your day, you know, that's probably more hours than you're giving your family and your friends a day towards something. It needs to mean something to you. And I know that we don't all have the luxury of like just choosing the career that we want. I know that circumstances sometimes demand that you just take whatever's given to you. But at some point you need to really just take control of your life and say, is this really something that's like fulfilling for me? That something that just makes me want to wake up every single day and like be a better version of myself and is giving me joy. At least for like 15 out of the 30 days, do I feel excited to be at work? Do I feel like, oh, this is something that I enjoy? Because if you're dreading every single day, those are your good years, guys. These are the good years. We're in our 20s. Most of us don't have major responsibilities. These are your good years. You don't want to be wasting it on a job that you genuinely like. I cannot, you know, you cannot be in that situation. And if you are in that situation, have you ever considered perhaps like a career counselor, somebody who can look at your strengths and your weaknesses and determine for you or help you find something, you know, find certain careers that can really help you flourish as a human being? Because I think sometimes we just have one way of like seeing our strengths and our weaknesses and saying, this is what I need to do, this is what I studied for, therefore this is what I need to do no matter what. And sometimes it takes an outside of like objective, you know, and to be like, yo, this is also what you can do. This is what you can also, like, maybe if you just get a little diploma over here, then it can help you transition into this type of work. So also the most important thing that I find with resolutions, don't try to do everything all at once. Like, multitasking is not your friend in this scenario. All it's going to do is just make you feel very bad at the end of the month because you're going to be so exhausted from this trying to be a different person, whatever. Take it little by little, guys. Like, sometimes our resolutions are way too big for a year. Like, it can only be done over several years, and we don't want to accept that. We're also living in an instant gratification world where we want things right now, and the truth of the matter is, it's just not like, you know, the thing that is healthy and ready for you to do. A lot of the people that we follow and we love are genuinely popped off or whatever because of years and years of working towards something little by little. It's all about creating the small little habits, and we've heard about this, but I'm going to reiterate it to you because sometimes we just need to be reminded of these things. That's what matters the most, is like taking the small little daily habits that grow and become these big dreams and big like achievements and like big goals that we eventually have in our lives. So that is like one thing that I've decided to be like, to tell myself, and also just to be kind to myself. So if I know this week I was supposed to go to the gym 5 times, and you know, human weakness and you know whatnot, I didn't do the 5 times, I maybe did it twice or 3 times. You know, you need to just tell yourself that's okay. You at least did something, but you can be better. And what resulted in you not getting there? Like, what made you veer off the path? And fix those little things. Like, oh, maybe it's because like I stayed up too late, like I stayed up until 11 or 12, and so I didn't have the energy to wake up at 5 and go to the gym. So now I know that I need to change that. So that's what I mean. Like, you can't be hard on yourself and just be like, oh, doesn't work for me, and then therefore I'm just not gonna be bothered, and I'm not gonna go ahead and change my life. No, you just need to break it down and be like, okay, didn't do well this week, what happened? And check in with yourself. Check in with yourself. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I have spoken a great deal, and this will be the year in which you will be seeing a lot more of me on YouTube. And like I said, if I don't have the daylight, because you can see now my face is getting more orange because there's this problem with the daylight again. If I really cannot film, I am on Memoirs of a Blazer. I am putting out content for you. Like I said, this is the year where I'm going to be sharing as much information as possible, and like just being a resource for you, you know, when you're just feeling down or you're feeling like, oh, I need to make a change. I want to be that resource for you, you know. I want to give you that little bit of a booster every now and then. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I have spoken way too much, but that is me. And I love you all. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, your dreams are valid, and I will see you next time. Bye.